Hey besties, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome back if you are not. My name is Charlotte. If you are new here, it's so good to have you either way. So today we are doing a bit of a TBR takedown because my TBR, she's looking long and I really need to focus on getting through my TBR and not keep adding new books. So that is what we're going to be trying to do, and that is basically going to be what all of my reading vlogs are kind of like at the moment, because there's a lot of new releases in the autumn and there's been so many books on my TBR for so long and I just need to get through them. And I did a lot of book shopping in June and some of July as well, and it's just getting out of hand. We are using my TBR jar to pick a prompt for each book. I've actually already filmed this video. This is a while later. But I basically picked a prompt and then read the book, picked another prompt, read the book, and did it like that. So I didn't have a set TBR. But yeah, let's rewind to past Charlotte and get into the video, shall we? Okay, it is time to pick our first prompt. Just gonna give the jar a good old shake. Oh, one has fallen out. Let's see what it is. Okay, so we have a set on a different continent. So I'm in the mood for a bit of a romance. So the options are Alive and Wells. I know this is set on a different continent. This is set in Canada, I believe. I think it's set on a ranch in British Columbia, so that is definitely a different continent. Rootbound, I think, is also a different continent. I mean, it's got a cowboy in it, and I don't think we really have cowboys in Europe, so. Honey and Spice, I think, might be set in the UK. We also have All Roads Lead Here. I think this is set in the US. A Small Town in the Mountains is kind of giving somewhere random. However, this is long. This is a super long book, and I don't think I'm in the mood for a 540-page romance book. That's a little bit too long for me. We have Ride With Me. However, I think this takes place between Portugal and Australia. Obviously, Portugal is in the UK is in Europe, so that one probably doesn't count. And then we have Next of Kin, which is obviously set in Canada. I think all of Hannah Bonham Young's books are set in Canada. We have Collide, which is a hockey romance, so I'm guessing is set in the US or Canada. And then we have Deep End. They're kind of the ones that I am most likely to be in the mood for. Obviously all of the fantasies will be set kind of like different continents, I'm guessing. And I do have a few like just fiction that are set in different continents. I'm not really in the mood for something like that. I'm definitely wanting some kind of romance. I think again this is a little bit longer than what I'm looking for. It's like 400 pages. Same with Collide. So I think we can take these three off of the choices. That means we have Next of Kin, Rootbound, or Alive and Wells. I think I'm going to go for Alive and Wells because it's really nice and short, and I'm just kind of in the mood for something short, and I think this is on Kindle Unlimited, and I would really like to read on my Kindle because I've not read a book on my Kindle in like nearly 2 weeks, and I just love my Kindle. Our first book is going to be Alive and Wells, a nice little cowboy romance to get us started. Tuesday evening. I have just finished work, eaten, and I've just been scrolling. But we're gonna read. I am, I think, 40-ish. I'm 39% of the way through Alive and Wells, and so far I am really enjoying this. It has been kind of like the perfect blend of like a little bit deep but not wow. Okay, the first bit is very deep. So this is about Cecily, who is basically escaping a domestic violence situation and ends up working on Austin's ranch. So definitely check the trigger warnings because the start is very, very intense, and she is still in the domestic violence situation, like the first 2 chapters I think, and we kind of see like what led her to leave, and we follow her leaving and ending up on Austin's ranch working there as, I think they call them like a ranch wife. Like she helps with like tend the garden and cook and like do all of that kind of stuff. So she ends up working there, and she is from the city. She is not like she does not have a background of this kind of work, and Austin is not in the, he's like, I don't need more city people here, like go and hire someone from town that like knows how to be on a ranch. So we kind of have that, and he's like a little bit grumpy, and we just kind of see them go on a journey together so far basically, and we understand why Austin is feeling this way he is. The one thing that I feel like it is lacking a little bit right now for me is I feel like Cecily hasn't spoken much about like the past, apart from like not in the way that like it's fully affected her. Maybe it's like that's gonna be what comes and she just hasn't really realised yet, or like I don't know. It's definitely kind of lacking that. But one thing I am really enjoying about this is that this is like a full-on ranch book. Like this is a proper cowboy romance. This is probably the most cowboy romance I've ever read, in terms of like we're actually talking about ranch things. Like there was a whole scene on like cattle branding, there was another scene where they went to a cattle market. Like this is much more like centered around the ranch, and like we're talking so much more about like ranch life and ranch activities compared to like Chestnut Springs. There's like one scene in one book that talks about like some kind of ranch life. And even like Lost in the Sod, like that's their ranch. Lost in the Sod, even the Rebel Blue Ranch series, like I would say they are like pretty, like those are more ranch heavy, like a couple of them. But yeah, like this is taking it to a whole new level, and I'm really enjoying that. It feels much more like what I want from like cowboy romance. That's kind of like I enjoy that, because it feels much more like there's more stuff going on. Do you know what I mean? Like there's not like a huge amount of plot, to be honest. We are just following these 2 characters, but because of all of the like ranch stuff happening in the background, like we're learning about the ranch, like, and all of that, it works. Does that make sense? So far I am enjoying it. I don't think it's going to be like a 5-star or anything that kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm excited to see kind of what happens and where we go from where we're at. One thing I will say is there definitely was like quite like instant attraction, but it didn't feel as intense as other romances, so that was quite good. I'm just enjoying it. I've not read a book like this in a really long time, and I'm just having a great time, honestly. I think because it was so deep at the start, like I just got really like stuck in, and I really cared about the character, like mainly Cecily. And yeah, I've just really enjoyed the way it's done. Like I think Austin is like the perfect amount of grumpy, and because we're getting his POV, it's like explained a bit more, but like he's not being grumpy for too long. Like I wouldn't even describe him as like a proper grumpy. Like it's much more like he's just quiet, which is just nice. I'm gonna keep on reading, and I will probably just do another update when we get finished, unless something happens and I feel like I need to update you. Okay, hopefully you can see me okay. The sun is glaring, but I literally just finished Alive and Well. I had just the epilogues to read. It is Wednesday afternoon, evening. So I came back from work, had dinner, finished the epilogues because I just didn't have time to finish them this morning. Now we need to put down this book because I'm ready to continue reading. I don't know what I'm in the mood for at all. So this is going to be interesting because I don't know if I want to read a fantasy, another romance. I don't really think I'm in the mood for another romance because I feel like I really enjoyed Alive and Well. I think I'll do proper thoughts like in a little bit or at the end of the video. I really enjoyed Alive and Well, like so much more than I thought I was gonna. It was so good. I'm not too sure on what my rating will be, but yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I think it was quite well done. It could have been a bit deeper, but I didn't really expect it to be deep, or like, I don't know, I feel like you pick up a Kindle Unlimited romance and you don't expect it to be deep, do you know what I mean? Like if I'm picking up like an Emily Henry, I'm expecting something a bit deeper, but with this I just didn't really think it would be all that deep. So yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was a fun time, but we need to pick out our next prompt to pick our next read. Okay, this one is kind of coming apart, but I didn't see it. Okay, we have Pretty Cover. Oh my god, this is the best one. You're definitely going to see it because it's just in the sun. Okay, so I feel like Phantasma has a very pretty cover. I don't know if I'm really in the mood for something like this, but I would quite like something I can read on my Kindle, just because I find it so much easier. And yeah, I just find reading on my Kindle so much easier. I love reading on my Kindle. So Phantasma has a really pretty cover, but Never also has a really pretty cover, and I would quite like to read this because Jessa has another book coming out like next week, so it'd be quite nice to like not have any more of her books on my TBR in the way of like them just being up to date with publication. So, and that is a beautiful cover. See, pretty cover is difficult because I feel like pretty cover and cool cover are different, like, because The Familiar has a really cool cover, but I don't think I'd say that this has a pretty cover. I also really like the cover of Sugar Baby, but I don't know if I'm in the mood for like a literary. I feel like you really have to be in the right mood for this. So I think the choices are Sugar Baby, Never, and Phantasma. I think I'm going to take Phantasma off because I think I want to save this a little bit longer until the autumn time. I feel like it's, because it's like a bit of a dark fantasy, I feel like it's just giving more autumn. I don't know. I'm really not sure. This is really hard because they're all kind of quite different. I guess like Never is a fantasy, but it's like a retelling kind of fantasy. And I do just love Jess's writing. Okay, I think I'm gonna get my phone. Oh, I'm gonna get Siri. Well, so we're gonna say Never is number 1, Sugar Baby is 2, and Phantasma is 3. And I'm gonna ask my phone, like Siri, to pick a number between 1 and 3. Hey Siri, please pick a number between 1 and 3. Okay, it's picked 1. There we go, it's in the calculator. Oh, so that's Never. Okay, so it looks like we are going to be starting Never by Jessa Hastings. I'll speak to you again when I have some thoughts. I am going to DNF Never. So I got up to page like 70 and I'm honestly just not really vibing with it. Like I'm not enjoying it. I don't like the kind of like strange over-sexualization that's happening because that was still like teenagers, and then the Jameson age gap happened. Like our main character in this is Daphne and she's 17, and then Jameson is like Captain Hook, that kind of character, and he's 22, but he's more of like a secondary, it was a bit of a love triangle, I suppose, is what I feel like we're lining up for. And he's 22 and I was just immediately like, I'm checking out. Like, yeah, I don't think I really like the Peter Pan. This is the first time I've read like a retelling, and I don't think I like the retelling vibes, basically. Well, I've read like obviously Akatar, but like the first book is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it's so different. Like this kind of felt like fanfic in a really weird way, and like not a fun way. Like fanfic's fun, but this was not. I just don't think it was for me, but I loved Jess's actual writing in it. I just didn't like the story and some of the things that we were doing in terms of like the characters. Like, yeah, Peter Pan was still acting really young, and it was just kind of a little bit uncomfortable, and I just didn't really like it, and the vibe just wasn't there for me. So this is going to be a DNF, which is such a shame because it's literally got the most beautiful cover ever, and I was like, maybe I'll display this one instead of Conditions of War, but I do not want this displayed. I will put it on my bookshelf in case I ever feel like coming back to it, which I highly doubt, but yeah, DNF for me. So we're going to just pick another book. which will be our third and final book, because it's actually been over a week, but my nan was staying this weekend, so I didn't do a huge amount of reading, so I thought we could just carry this on anyway. Like, to be honest, I'm not really back, like, up to my like reading 3 books in a week days yet, so all reading vlogs are going to be stretched at the moment, okay? And so we have my little tin of prompts, and we're just going to pick something and we're going to hope for the best. I don't really know what I'm in the mood for. I feel like the past few books I've kind of known. Oh, we've taken a few. Okay. I feel like this one was the one I picked up, so I'm just going to carefully unfold. Okay. So, a book in a series. So, this actually gives us some interesting options, because there are books that are like the first books in series in here, but I also have books on my shelves that are part of series as well. So I'm going to go and grab those. The 2 books to continue series I have are 2 of the longest books I own. So we have Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh, which I do really want to read, but I don't know if I'm like emotionally ready. It's been like over a year now since I read Binding 13, and I've had Keeping 13 pretty much the whole time, but I'm like, I just don't think I'm emotionally ready for it. Like, I don't know if I can dive, like I enjoyed Binding 13 a lot, but I just don't know if I can dive back into that world again. So yeah, I don't know what to do. So I don't know if it will be this one. The other one we have that's continuing a series is The Ashes and the Starcast King. Again, super long, and I don't know if I want to read something this long at the moment. I feel like because it's not been that long since I kind of got out of a reading slump, reading a book that's like 750 pages just feels like a lot. So then it brings us to books that are parts of series that are like the first book in a series on my TBR. So we have Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. I know the second book to this is coming out soon, I think like in the autumn. This sounds kind of like a cozy fantasy, like a witch kind of vibe, but much more of like a cozy vibe, which could be quite nice, I guess. I guess Ninth House is part of a duology, although I do think this is definitely something I want to read in the autumn. It's like, I think Dark Academia in the autumn just hits different, okay? Leave me alone. And then we have The Prison Healer, which I'm definitely intrigued by, and I feel like this is a nice length of 400 pages. I don't really know what this is about, but I think it's a trials-based fantasy, although I think it's YA, and I just feel so nervous around YA at the moment because I feel like I don't always like it. So then we also have Phantasma. This is obviously book 1, and I am really intrigued by this. But again, I just don't know if I want to wait until more like the autumn to read. We also have Fear the Flames, which I've started before, and I just didn't get super far with. Like I have chapter 4 bookmarked in here, and then I think I just picked something else up. I was, again, slumping and just going through anything. And then I think oh no, we also have Quicksilver. Although again, that's a super long one. And I have Swordcatcher, and again, I think it's just too long for me right now. I feel like right now it's kind of I don't want to say the shorter the better, but I'm definitely leaning more towards like a shorter book. I don't think I'm quite in the mood for Fear the Flames. I've heard such mixed things about the trad published version that I'm a little bit nervous. So that leaves Phantasma, The Prison Healer, and Rewitched. Because I think these 2, as much as I want to continue these series, I don't think I want to go into books this hefty right now. Oh, this is so hard to decide. I'm going to get my phone, and I'm going to get my phone to pick a book between 1 and 3 again, and hopefully we have better luck this time. I'm going to say Prison Healer is 1, Rewitched is 2, and Phantasma is 3. Hey Siri, please pick me a number between 1 and 3.
A random number between 1 and 3 is 2.
2, okay. So we're going to be starting Rewitched. I'm on my lunch break at the moment, and I have literally just finished. So we'll be starting Rewitched when I finish my lunch break. When I finish work, which is exciting. This is a nice length. Oh, we've got some of the new book in there as well. So a nice 400-ish page book. That kind of feels perfect. And you know, it does say a mug of hot chocolate in book form, so maybe not the right vibes for the season, although this week is cooler and it's meant to rain quite a bit, so maybe it's going to be a good vibe. But yeah, I'm excited to give it a go. Okay, you may realise that this is the same setup as the start of this video, because I filmed that after reading all of the books, and I am obviously filming this after reading all the books. It's actually been a little while since I filmed this video, so I've definitely had time to marinate with my thoughts. So obviously the first book that we picked up was Alive and Well. I have still thought about this book a lot. I really enjoyed this. I think this is definitely one of the favourite cowboy romances that I have read. Like, it hit so hard. It was like the perfect level of like deep and like fun at the same time. It was just a really good time. Like, I think that's the only way that I can describe it, is that it was just a good time. It was fun. I had a lot of fun whilst reading it, and I did give this a 4.25 stars. I'm really excited to continue the series. Yeah, I thought it was the perfect length, everything. It was just it was a good time. It was a very good time. Okay, so we then picked up Never by Jessa Hastings. This was quite an anticipated book. I think this was, I don't know what the prompt was for this. Maybe it was an anticipated read. This was a book that I was really looking forward to, and it just didn't hit. I didn't like the age gap situation in this. I actually didn't mind Jessa's writing. I didn't find this too different from Magnolia Parks in writing style. The thing that I didn't like about it was the weirdness with the age gap and like the prevalence of the conversation of sex. Like, I just found it a little bit uneasy. Like, for the age that the characters were, and I really couldn't get past like the Peter Pan-ness of it all. And I know it's meant to be a darker version based off of the book, but all I could think about was the cartoon, and I think that's the thing that's really difficult about doing like retellings of fairy tales, and it's why I've avoided a lot of retellings of fairy tales, because I just don't think I can get past the Disney versions, and that was definitely the case for this book, which is such a shame. But I think it was that I think I wouldn't have had an issue with it if there wasn't some of the other things, like the talking about sex, the age gap and that was going on. The age gap wasn't even like a big age gap, it was just the fact that she was 17. Like, yeah, I think that's the bit that made me uncomfortable. The fact that they were like having these conversations, but then like Peter Pan, the Lost Boys, was still acting kind of immature. Like, he had this whole thing where he was like, I need to show everyone I'm big now. Like, it was just very childish, and it just felt uncomfortable, to be honest. It just wasn't for me, and I'm sad about it because I thought I could really like this, but yeah, it just wasn't for me. I will be keeping it though, I think, because I just love the covers so much. And it's always handy to have books that you've DNF'd as like a cautionary tale. Okay, and then we had our last book, which was Rewitched, and I really don't remember if I spoke a lot about this book. I struggled with this a little bit. I struggle with cozy fantasy sometimes in general when I don't feel like we're working towards anything, but it doesn't feel character driven enough. I think sometimes sorry, there's a forklift outside if you can hear the beeping. I think sometimes if a book that's like a cozy book is super character driven, it's a lot more like doable, I think, than when there's not much going on, but it doesn't feel like we're getting a lot of character like development or anything like that. It was just a little bit all over the place, I couldn't really tell what we were fully working towards for like until like a good halfway, and then just like a lot was happening. But out of all of the witchy modern books that I've read, I think this has been my favourite, in that it didn't follow like, a lot of them just like really overly sweary, and they have like such a similar voice. I really didn't find that with this one. It felt very unique voice in this kind of genre, or like subgenre, microgenre, I don't really know what you say. But yeah, I did enjoy it, but it was just a 3.5 star for me, which is a fairly good rating for me. Like, it's not the best, it's not the worst. I may continue the series when the second one's not even come out yet on hardback, and I would definitely wait for paperback. Like, it's not a book series where I'm like, I need to know, because I don't really get how we're getting a second book in this series. We didn't meet any other like magical characters, so I don't really understand where the series element is coming from. But yeah, those are my thoughts on these 3 books. So yeah, enjoyable. We had it enjoyable, we had a mid ground, and we had a DNF. But it's 3 more books off of my TBR, which is a big victory, and now I get to put them away, which is always the dream. We love that. We get to fill the shelf up. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please give this video a thumbs up so I know you want to see more reading vlogs, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Bye!